Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here with all the eyeshadow palettes I purchased recently, or at least I've purchased within the last like 4 or 5 months, and I'm going to rank them. Now I've seen quite a few people do this, and I love that idea. All right, so I have a total of 5 palettes, and I'm going to rank them. Before I start that, so I've been trying to declutter my foundations, and so I've been going through my foundations and I've been wearing them if I and see how, like, revisiting a lot of them, wearing them, seeing if I still like it, and if I don't, I've been putting it aside. So I revisited this Tom Ford, the Traceless Matte, Soft Matte, foundation. I didn't even know I had this. I thought I gave this away. I was literally saying, oh yeah, that foundation, I didn't like it, I gave it away. I reviewed this when this came out. I don't know. I mean, I smelled it. It smelled fine, so I put it on my face. I don't know if it's expired, but who cares? But, and I used this today and I'm like, what? So, because this was going to be on the chopping block and something told me to put it on. And I think it looks amazing. So I'm keeping this, and I'm doing the same thing with my concealers. And I use my Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Maple. And I'm like, what? And I haven't used this. I think I used it once after I reviewed it. I think I was early in my channel, or halfway in my channel, when I reviewed this foundation. This is how it's sitting on my skin, and it's in the shade Warm Nutmeg. It's really good. Of course, it's a little dark. I manipulated it with the concealer, and it seems as though I gravitate towards the shade, because in the stick foundation, I picked up Warm Nutmeg, and there's nothing warm about it, but I just wanted to mention it. Like, so if like you haven't used a foundation in a while, because the drawers that are behind me, there are 5 drawers. 3 of those drawers have my liquid foundations. In front of me, I have a shelf, the bottom are full of liquid foundations. And then on that side, I have 2 drawers with my stick foundations and my foundations that are in a tube. It's too much, so I'm trying to declutter, but I'm going to keep this. Just wanted to mention that. All right. So let's jump into rating my palettes and like doing a palette roundup. All right. So I'm going to rank these palettes, and it's not that one is so much better than the other. I'm doing it because I have to rank it. So like I said, I have 5, and coming in at number 5, it's the Mario, his Ethereal Eyeshadow Palette. This retails for $68. All of these palettes I've used on camera before. It's very beautiful, like I said. This is just nitpicking. It's ranked by maybe a hair. So this is what the palette looks like. And I've used it a few times because, of course, I've been buying palettes, and I'm not even going to get into me having too much makeup. But I personally wished it had a deeper brown shade. If you're lighter than me, it probably doesn't matter. But for me, I wished it had like a lighter brown shade. I love anything matte. And his shimmer shades to me are more of like toppers because I've used them. I've been using these 2 a lot. Well, these 3 in this row. The warmer row. And my conclusion is that this palette to me is like the perfect palette for, like, you see those Victoria's Secret models? They have like the soft mattes, and then they have a splash of like a topper, the sparkle on their eyes, very like soft, fairy, angelic eyes. And this is what this palette can do. It's a beautiful palette. And also with this palette, of course, when it's gone, it's not coming back. So if you wanted to get your hands on it, if it's still available, you should get it. And I love his mattes. I think he makes very good mattes. I just personally wished that there was a deeper brown shade in this palette. But overall, it's a beautiful palette. All right, coming in at number 4 is the Huda Beauty, the Pretty Grunge palette. I've used this about 3 times since I've purchased it. If I can get it open. Okay. So I did a review on this palette. This is such a beautiful palette. The mattes are beautiful. The shimmer shades are beautiful. They're very, very pigmented. This also retails for $69 as well. My only thing with this palette, for me, personally, I'm speaking for myself, I think this is more of a nighttime palette, more of an event palette. Like, to me, it's not an everyday palette, except if you're just doing the mattes. If you're doing the mattes, of course, it's an everyday palette, and you can use like a light hand because the colors are very grunge. They're very pigmented. They're like purples and purple blacks and mauves in this palette. So I think it pulls very nighttime. I think it is a fall palette. I think it's a very holiday palette as well. Like, I can see this, a lot of people probably using this for New Year's Eve, especially using the silvers. It's a beautiful palette, but for me, personally, it's like an event palette. Like, I wouldn't reach for this palette every day. And if I'm spending, you know, almost 70 bucks on a palette, I want to be able to use it every day. But like I said, I can use the mattes every day, but I also have other matte palettes. So why would I use this every day? But the shades are beautiful. The mattes blend beautifully. The shimmer shades are gorgeous. Super pigmented, very blinding when you put them on the eye. Very, very easy to use. It's a very, very beautiful palette. But like I said, nitpicking, so this came in at number 4. Okay, coming in at number 3. The Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Eyeshadow Palette. I wanted to rank this higher, honestly. I love this palette so much, and I was not expecting to love it. I love the packaging. Oh my God, the packaging is so beautiful, so clean girl aesthetic. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. I love the fact that it has this deep shade right here. Oops. Hitting my mouth. This shade right here it's like, it pulls the whole palette together for somebody like me who's of a darker complexion and just love like to put deep colors like in my crease and just have my eyes pop. And the shimmer shades in here are chef's kiss. They are buttery. They're pigmented. There's no streaking. Like, well, streaking. Let me just show you guys. Of course, I've used it on my channel before. You see that? Just the way it goes on, there's no patchiness. It just slides on. It's very smooth. Does the same thing on the eyes. I've also used it damp. Like, I've damped my finger. It's beautiful. And what I love about this palette as well, and like I said, nitpicking, it's number 3, but it could be number 1. But I have to rank them. This palette as well, I can use every shade. I haven't yet, but I can use every shade in this palette. Definitely, I can use every shade. I can use all the matte shades in my crease. I can build them up. I can pack them on. I can build them up. And every shade. Because this shade right here was a little intimidated because it's so like light and silvery. And I've used it. I just kind of just put it on my eyes, like I said, like the way they do the Victoria's Secret models, their makeup. I just scattered it on my lid, and I was looking at myself in my car mirror and I was like, wow, it looked really pretty. This is well worth it. I mean, you could never say Natasha Denona cannot do eyeshadow. This is her niche. She knows how to do a good eyeshadow. I never take the plastic off my mirror because I don't really use it. I know it looks weird. It's a stunning, stunning palette. I would highly recommend, if you guys haven't picked it up already, if you're in the market for like a nude eyeshadow palette with shimmers, I would recommend this very, very highly. Okay, the 2 palettes that are left is the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 3 palette that I just purchased, and of course, Danessa Myricks Lightwork Neutrals palette. And this was like neck and neck, but I'm gonna put this as number 2. This retails for $70. This is my favorite palette. Well, the palette that I like better, because I have, I think, Major Dimensions 2, the one that has the shimmers that I don't particularly like. I am wearing this palette today. I'm officially obsessed with this palette. If I can get it open, that would be great as well. All right, officially obsessed with this palette. Now, when I did my get ready with me using this palette, I got a comment that somebody said, why do you like it? it doesn't look, you know, the creams look weird, doesn't really look good. I think I personally did not do this palette justice, because when I looked back at that video, I could have blended some more in the crease, especially on the cream side. I remember, I think I had the cream side on this side. I'm not sure. I could have blended it some more. And I could have packed on a little bit more shadow on the lid, but it was the first impression. I'm not your eyeshadow girly. Today I'm using just the mattes, no creams. That was the first and only time I have used the creams. I will use it in the future. I do love the cream, but I've been doing the matte, and I cannot get enough of this palette. It's stunning. It's so beautiful. These mattes are beautiful, and I was comparing the mattes to the Makeup by Mario, his master mattes. These mattes are better. They're like butter. The way they blend, the way they look, the pigmentation, every shade. Because if you watch that Get Ready With Me, I was saying that I was concerned that they weren't deep enough. They're perfect because there's so much pigment in each shadow. It's incredible. This is definitely going to be one of the best palettes of the year. And like I said, since I got it, I've used it every single day. I've also paired it with the Lightwork neutrals. It's perfect, especially for somebody like me who love mattes, who love neutral tones, who love latte makeup. Oh my God, it's like he made this palette for me, and I'm so appreciative. I'm kidding, of course, because some people take stuff seriously. I'm kidding. Yeah, but I'm officially obsessed with this palette. I cannot get enough of it. I'm going to wear this palette every day. And like I had said in my Get Ready With Me video, I can use every single shade in this palette. I'm obsessed with this shade right here. Also obsessed with the cooler shade. And I love that he has a cool row and a warm row. You can mix the two. I mixed the two for my inner tear duct. I mixed the two. I mixed the warm and the cool on the extreme outer part of my eye. I think it looks so beautiful. It's an everyday palette. You can dress it up, add some shimmer if you want to do something sparkly. It's a stunning palette. I love this so much. It comes in at number 2 by a sliver. So obviously, we all know what the number 1 palette is. All right, so obviously, coming in at number 1 is the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Neutrals palette. This retails for $65. This is actually the cheapest of all the palettes. And like I said, I was neck and neck between this and the Patrick Ta. Oh, something is in my eye. Sorry, I just had to get that out of my eye. All right, so like I said, it was a sliver between this and the Patrick Ta. And the reason this came in first is because I think this is more versatile, because I can use it on my lips, I can use it on my face. Of course, I can probably do that, but I don't like the shiny creams in there for my lips or anything. I think it will be slipping and sliding. And why I also have this palette as number 1, I love the fact that it has creams, but I find the fact that it has creams has intimidated so many people, and you really don't have to. I mean, I talk as though like I'm one of her reps, but I think if you're a makeup person, you love makeup, you're a makeup collector, if you love nude shades, I think this is a must-have palette in your collection. It's that good. This as well, I can use every shade. The only shades I haven't really messed with that much, as you can see, is this shade right up here. But I'm gonna use it with, I want to use it with the Huda Beauty Grunge palette. This is an absolutely beautiful palette. Like I said, I contour with it. I use it on my lip. I use it on my eye. I paired it with the Patrick Ta, and oh my God, my eyes look so pretty, look so chocolatey. So because it's more versatile and because it has the creams, this is why I'm going to put this as number 1. But the Patrick Ta and this was like barely a sliver. Beautiful. I would recommend every single palette that I bought. I would recommend it. They're all beautiful. You can just pick. It depends on your taste, what you want, what you like. But if you're a neutral girly, that Patrick Ta, and you know, that Patrick Ta will be the palette, especially if you're intimidated with the creams and you don't want to mess around with this. And this is also the cheapest, like I said, of the palettes. And oops, the outer packaging is so beautiful as well. And these two together, if you have these two, pair them together, it's absolutely beautiful. So seeing that I have so many palettes, this whole vanity, but you can't see this part. This is all Tom Ford, all back there palettes. I have so many palettes in my drawer. So for me, I hadn't really purchased eyeshadow palettes in a long, long time. And then boom, I purchased 5. So I think that says a lot. And I don't regret any of them. I think they're all 5 are worth it. They're very, very beautiful. And yeah, this is my roundup of all my palettes, why I like them, why I rate them the way I rated them. And I just want to say again, if you have this in your collection and you were like me, you didn't like it, pull it out and try it again, because... And pull out your Too Faced concealer as well. I forgot how good that was. So beautiful. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.